Well, hello boys and girls, and today is the last day that we'll be learning about how characters change in a story. Today we're going to talk about how sometimes different characters learn the same lesson. Now we've already looked at 2 books this week where characters learn the same lesson. Mirette on the High Wire and Abuela's Weave. Can you think about what lesson they both learned and what lesson that they both learned that's the same? So they both learned to be confident, right? Yeah. Mirette had to learn to be confident so she could overcome fear of walking on the high wire at the end. And her confidence and courage also inspired Bellini to get back out there and try again on the high wire, didn't it? Yeah. And in Abuela's Weave, Esperanza had to learn to be confident with her talent of weaving, right? And she learned not to be afraid of what people might think of her grandmother, and not to be afraid of the big crowds, but to be confident in her talent. So both of our main characters, Mirette and Esperanza, learned to be confident in their talents and abilities, right? Awesome. Well, let's see if we can look at today's characters and think about what lesson they may have learned. So today we read Suki's Kimono and Bronterina. And these were some great stories. So what lesson do we think Suki learned? Well, let's take a look at her story. At the beginning of the story, you'll notice that Suki wanted to wear her kimono. But her sisters didn't think that was a good idea, did they? What happened at the end of this story? No one even noticed Mari's new sweater. No one even noticed Yumi's cool shoes, but Suki just smiled. Yeah, she fit in just by being herself. Do you think that's a really important lesson for characters to learn? To be themselves? Huge, right? It's very important. Let's see if that's the same lesson that Bronterina learned. So Bronterina is a dinosaur, and in the beginning of her story, she really wants to be a dancer. She has a dream. She wants to dance. Now, did everyone think that was a good idea? Not necessarily. Madame Lucille says, but you're a dinosaur. But she didn't care, did she? She believed in herself. See? Now what happens at the end of this story? At the end, now Madame Lucille's Dance Academy had room for everyone. There was a dance class, even for other dinosaurs. Isn't that great? And it all began with Lucille's dream. So, it seems like both Suki and Bronterina had to learn to be themselves, right? So, I'm going to write they learned to be themselves. Now, let's think about both of these lessons. learning to be confident and learning to be yourself. Do you think that there might be a reason that authors would write so many stories that have the same lesson, where the characters are learning the same lesson? Do you think it's a coincidence that these lessons are found in children's books? No, it's not a coincidence, right? One of an adult's job is to show children and to teach children very important life lessons. These are really important life lessons that everyone needs to learn. So it's no surprise when characters in different stories learn the same lesson, especially if those lessons are really important for everyone to learn. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this week's lessons.